am Mecha Random 42, your favorite YouTube harpy. We're talking about the Orville. I always get so excited to talk about the Orville. This is one of those shows where every week I just can't wait to watch it. And this is what I want Star Trek to be too. I want Star Trek to be this good where every week I'm like, is it on yet? Is it on yet? The Orville is just doing this consistently every week. And I am so excited that we just have something good for a change. That we just have something that feels familiar but is different enough to be new and fresh and exciting. It's just good. It's just a fun time. It makes me think. I like shows that make me think. I don't like shows that give me all these nauseating camera angles and swooping upside down shot. No, hold the camera still. Let me look at what I want to look at. You know, you could do that. You could have stuff going on in the background. I can move my head and my eyes, right? That's more of a critique of Star Trek Discovery, which I'll get into on my Discovery video. Right now, we're going to talk about the good show. We're going to talk about the Orville Season 2, Episode 12. 12, Sanctuary. I had to double check over there on my other monitor. For the spoiler-free part of the review, I'm just going to kiss the show's butt for a few minutes here. It's good. It's really good. It's not the best. It kind of feels a little bit more like a filler episode, but we are setting up a lot more, and we've been setting up this from, you know, the first moment that we saw Bortus. This is a Bortus episode. If you see the thumbnail, you'll know it's a Bortus episode again, but we are setting up Moclan government. We're setting up Moclan story arcs. You know, we're setting up, hey, maybe this whole planet of males, maybe there's something a little more to that. And I love that. I love that they're setting this up. And I know it's a little predictable for some of us who are like super diehard Star Trek sort of alum who can say, oh, I see where you're going with this. But it works. It really, really works. You know, I like that. I like the fact that I can predict where something is going and be intrigued by it. You know, I'm like, ooh, they're going to go over here. How are they going to do this? What are they going to do? I know it's going to come, but I still kind of, I'm enjoying, I'm along for the ride, you know, because I like these characters. I like how they're doing it. I like the way the visual effects look in this show. I have to really give a huge shout out to the visual effects house. I can see everything. It's beautiful. You have gorgeous shots of shipyards in this around. Oh God, just beautiful ship porn. You have ship porn in the show. You don't have that in Discovery. You have some shaky blue shit that you can't see over in Discovery. This is masked by lens flare. This, you can see the ships. You can see them docking. You can see, yeah, they do a good job. They really, really do a good job. They bring back recurring characters in a way, you know, that you want to see them. It's none of this, oh, and of course this person's back now. No, they bring people back in a good, intelligent way, right? And I do have to kind of give a little bit of a critique here. I don't want to be too hard on the Orville because they are actually doing their job. It felt a little bit more like a bit of a filler episode in some ways. It felt a little bit more like, one of those episodes where they're just kind of in the middle of something, like, okay, they're going to get to the good part. They're going to get more of this. This is like just a little setup. So for that, I might have to give it a little lower score. Maybe about a 7 out of 10. I still really, really, really enjoyed this. But no, it wasn't really anything super remarkable. It's probably not going to be an episode I watch again. At least not anytime soon. And a lot of these Orville episodes, you can just rewatch so many times. It is probably one of the weaker episodes, in my opinion. Even though I love it, I still love it. It's still one of the weaker episodes. And by me giving a weaker episode of the Orville a 7, I have never given an episode of Discovery higher than a 6. So keep that in mind. I've never given any episode of Discovery higher than a 6 because it doesn't deserve it. It really doesn't deserve it. So the Orville, and I feel bad about giving the Orville a 7, but I have to be fair, a 7 out of 10, because it really didn't do a whole lot of unexpected stuff, but I was fine with that for my personal taste. I think some people might be a little, okay, we're seeing too much Bortus, we're seeing too much of this is exactly what we thought was going on, but maybe they're not. Maybe it's a complete surprise to people. So that's it for the spoiler-free part. Now we really have to get into spoilers here for me to kind of critique the episode better. This episode starts out with some Moclans coming on board ship. They're kind of just being transported to somewhere else. They have a suitcase. in this suitcase, they have a baby girl Mochlin. Now, for people who don't know, Mochlins are mostly a male society. They say that births of females are once in every, every generation, maybe. We've been seeing a lot more females, so in my head, I'm like, okay, so Bortus's own husband was born a female, and they gave him the corrective procedure as a baby. Their own child, Topa, was born a female, and that was one of the best episodes of season 1. Huge deal, where they had to go to court on Mochlus and try and fight for the rights of Topa to be raised as a girl. And of course they said, no, we can't do that. Bortus lost, and that's been a huge overarch in his story character between him and his mate Clyden, their child, how they raised their child. A lot of this just real grown-up stuff that people actually go through in their lives. None of this, oh, I love you so much. I love you, Michael Burnham. I love you, Michael Burnham. See, I have to compare and contrast, and one is better because the other one exists, and one is worse because the other exists. They're kind of like the yin and the yang. They really do, like Discovery and the Orville do kind of go hand in hand when I'm reviewing these. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I've never seen Discovery, they do a lot of whisper talking in that. Nobody feels like actors. On the show, they feel like a bunch of teenagers with feelings, and it feels horrible and annoying. Not on the Orville, however. The Orville's giving me real grown-up adult issues like marriage, childbirth, or child rearing, like the communication between your partner and yourself on how you're raising your child. That is interesting to me, that they're going that route on science fiction. It's also interesting that they're kind of setting up this whole Mochlin revolution. In this episode, we come back to About a Girl from last season, where they did find one female Mochlin in the hills. She was like a really prolific writer. And she has since then, and I think even before, started this whole colony of women. She's kind of like Harriet Tubman, Underground Railroad sort of person. I'm getting goosebumps talking about the Orville. I really love the Orville. It's such a good show. She starts this whole Underground Railroad trying to liberate female Mochlins who would have been mutilated and forced to have a sex change. This is, and I do have to warn people, this is identity politics, and how you do identity politics so you don't preach at people and be a stupid idiot like Star Wars and Star Trek do. No, this is how you do an identity politics show. You show actual oppression of actual females who are being actually oppressed by being forced to undergo sex changes, right? This is kind of like what we see in some of these Middle Eastern countries as well, actual female political issues. And I hate getting too political on my channel, but I don't mind. I have no problem with diversity. I have no problem with a lot of this stuff. I mean, a lot of this is the same message I already know, but you're telling me that in a way that I don't mind being told, You're telling me this in a way that I'm like, yes, I'm rooting for these people to have their freedom because that's the side I'm on. I'm on the side of what I think is right and morally just, and they do such a good job of presenting the Mochlin version of this. They're like, yeah, Mochlins don't want the females to be liberated because their society functions just fine. They'll have chaos, they'll have a huge uprising, they'll have shit'll hit the fan on their planet if they let the women be women, right? If they allow this and let their dirty secret out, because it seems like they've been setting up for a very long time in this series, and it doesn't feel like a very long series, but it seems like they've been setting this up for a while, and they have, where more females are born on Mochlus, and there's like this huge cover-up where they don't want people to know that. I love how they're doing this. I really love that. It's so fascinating. And part of this episode, they really get into they're in the it's not Starfleet, Union headquarters, where they're talking to the admirals. You have Tony Todd guest starring as a Mochlin. Oh my god, Tony Todd, he's amazing. I absolutely love him. He's been in everything from Candyman to Deep Space Nine to everything. Amazing actor. You have F. Murray Abraham, another one. Holy shit. Another. I could list his acting credits. You know who he is. He's in like Amadeus, Last Action Hero, all these things. I know. He's been in everything. You have all these great actors coming into this series to basically deliberate about, well, this is why we don't want this. And guess what? We supply all of Earth's weapons. We supply all of the Union's weapons. And there's a huge debate on, okay, well, we can't piss off the Mochlins because we need their weapons against the Kaylons. And the Mochlins are like, yeah, we're just going to go team up with the Krill. Screw you guys. And then, of course, they're like, yeah, ooh, they'll do that too, but then the Krill might not like you, and then they'll have the Mothmans and the Krill against us, and it's one of those things where there is no proper clean cut answer, so they find their way around it. They find like okay, well, how about this? How about a compromise? Yes, intelligent deliberation, discussion. I love this. I absolutely love everything about this. It felt like a couple of different episodes, right? There's even some funny moments. The comedy is actually part of why I knocked this down a peg, because this episode could have removed two bits of comedy and been a full-on Star Trek episode, right? And I think that's what I'm dinging it for. Also, is for the predictability, the fact that it's more Bortus so soon after more Bortus, and that it had the comedy that wasn't really. I mean, it was funny. I'll give it that. It just felt a little out of place. It felt a little like, oh, we're not watching Star Trek. No. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You'll see it though. You'll see it when you see it. And they brought it back, and it was funny sort of. And the next time they brought back their little reference. I don't want to spoil everything about this episode, because I think you really need to go and watch it. It's really, really good. Yeah, 10 out of 10 would be a little too high for this one. 7 out of 10 is probably about perfect. So I'm not going to spoil the whole thing. They do settle on a compromise. There is a really good guest star I do have to shout out to this episode. We remember from previous episodes that Kelly was dating the school teacher, and she broke up with him, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to be on the ship anymore with you. So he went off wherever. We have a new school teacher, Marina Sirtis. I hope she stays on, because I really love seeing her. I'm a huge fan, so I love seeing her. I loved her on Star Trek. I loved her on pretty much everything I see her on. I loved her when she did a guest spot on Stargate. She's just kind of an amazing actress. Real fun lady. I really want to see her in more Orville, so hopefully she'll come back. Yeah, so final thought. 7 out of 10. So, oh, and before I leave, I do have Star Trek Las Vegas GoFundMe. If you guys do want to help support that, I will link that in the description below, because I want to go to Star Trek Las Vegas. I don't have it pulled up. Oh, yes, I do. I do have it pulled up. Here we go. Let me just show you that real quick. It is at $515 already in 4 days. So thank you guys so much. It has been amazing. If you guys do want to contribute to that, I will link that in the description below. I am Mecha Random 42. Where is it? P.O. Box 1566, Loveland, Colorado 80539. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video or live stream. Bye! Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!